Come here now, girl.
Hi, BonBon here. While there are all sorts of problems with the launch version of the game Cities Skylines 2, stuff I have been the first to call out, check my early live streams, bug report featurettes and my Is It Worth It review, there's also plenty to get excited about too, and it would be wrong of me not to focus on these things as well. Beyond all the obvious improvements, including but not exclusive to the new road tools, there's a bunch of major enhancements which have brought subtle improvements and have mostly flown under the radar. One such improvement is how the game handles spawnable buildings. While there is definitely still room for improvement, there's enough to like here and information to share which could go some way to helping you build a more aesthetically pleasing city to make a tutorial like this worthwhile. By learning which buildings are available and under which conditions they are most likely to appear, we can utilise zone sizing to force specific buildings to spawn, giving us more control over our land usage and in turn the shape of the skyline itself. This series is planned to cover all of the different zoning types, so if this interests you, you know what to do. That's right, it's time to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let's just start by saying ignore the background graphics here. I finally fixed some of this, which you may notice in later scenes during this video, and all I did was turn my graphic settings down a level. Anyway, we're here to get excited about the foreground. And you're probably asking yourself, why? Well, let's just focus on the main building model. Ignore everything else. So, what do we have? Well, it's a small cabin. It's simple and it's uninspiring by design. This building is a canvas. The walls are a dull brown, although the building can spawn painted in various different muted colours. The roof is a dull green. The design is ordinary. This is the joint smallest residential building in the game. It's a building block, so to speak, and everything else by comparison will seem comfortable or even extravagant. But the way the game handles spawnables like this brings them to life and helps to prevent your city being a swathe of sameness. And it does this via the clever use of props. Let's take a look at some very mundane examples. In all of these plots we'll be seeing the very same European cabin in a 2x3 cell configuration, but with the game's procedurally generated paint, prop and tree decorations. Comparing the second to the first, we can see a number of differences from the size of the greenhouse, the colour of the shed, to the flowers outside the front. But that's not all. If we move on to the next plot, we can see rows of bushes, missing furniture, a different bench, and roof colour too. On to plot 3, and we have a different model of greenhouse, with larger window panes, a roof ladder, and even the rocks have rotated positions a little. These patterns continue with a limited selection of props, foliage and paint colours, along with on-off settings, meaning that not every location spawns the selected thing every single time. This ensures that while the buildings are identical, the supposed personality of the Sims inside makes each residence feel unique and lived in. But that isn't all the game gives us for variations in individual buildings, as plot size will also affect the number of decoration opportunities. Naturally, there is always going to be less space on a smaller plot, as we can see here. But alternating different sizes of plots can help mix up the varieties, and alternating back to front against front to back can ensure optimum plot usage with maximum asset variation. This isn't the case with only the cabin, but with all spawnable buildings, no matter what the size. Alternation will bring variety, but the larger the plot size, the greater the opportunity for the game to choose an alternative building, as more configurable options become available. Knowing the menu of buildings can help you try to encourage the game to spawn the specific building you desire, so let's take a look at the selection now. The profile cabin will only spawn on 2x2 and 2x3 zones. To help me remember each asset, I've given each a name. These aren't official, but they do help me. And we're going through all of the European buildings first. Anyway, the Zigzag is a great little building which predominantly spawns on 2x4, 2x5 and 2x6 zones. The T+1 is a shorter, stockier asset with two small buildings side by side, filling 3 cells wide but only 2 to 3 deep. Next up is the Dutch. At 3 cells wide and from 4 to 6 cells deep, this is the first multi-floor building, albeit with the upper floor being tucked away in the rafters. And finally the 2 square, which isn't really 2 squares. This neat combo has the largest footprint, 4 cells wide and from 4 to 6 cells deep. And that's your entire range. Just the 5 buildings then. Except that surplus resident wealth will go into upgrading the building, and from level 3 a new asset will spawn for most models, except for the basic original cabin. I'll take this moment to point out that all low density housing has off-street parking, so it's ideal for grass or tree lining your streets. Anywho, replacing the Zigzag and covering the deep 2 cell zones, we have the Cyberman's Eye, so called because it reminds me of the eye of a Cyberman. The Vicarage is the upgrade to the stocky T+1 plot, 3 cells wide but also no more than 3 deep, and is a cute gingerbread style house if ever I saw one. Next is the exception to the rule. Other than the baseline cabin, the only property I haven't seen an upgrade for is the Dutch. This building feels upgraded already, and I wonder if the level 1 model is the error here. Either way, it certainly is a great looking asset. And finally from Europe, the Big Square, the upgrade from the 2 square. Filling the largest plot size, this building is for the most wealthy of citizens and may be quick to become abandoned during hard times. So it's time to relocate and head across the pond to see the US themed buildings instead. These follow a similar pattern to those themed on Europe, leading off with the landscape cabin, 2x2 and 2x3, which would look good on any mountain village build. This is followed up by a building not dissimilar to the European cabin itself. I call this one Portrait with Veranda, and it spawns in the deep 2 cell wide plots. Its upgrade, which we'll see soon, is right on theme. The Stout asset in the American theme is what I call the diner. It is residential, but it reminds me of diners I have seen across many shows and movies. The 3 wide but multiple deep asset is the L+1. This is my least favourite of all of the low residential assets, but do let me know if you disagree in the comments below. And last up for level 1 is the microchip. Filling 4 wide and up to 6 deep, this asset's upgrade is magnificent. But let's take a look at all of the other US level 3 upgrades. Again, the basic cabin doesn't have an upgrade, so we jump straight to the large with veranda. Similar to the earlier veranda model, but fills more of the 2 cell zoned width. Triple V to me is a typical Middle America family home. This is the upgrade from the diner, so it really is quite the change. A lovely looking building it is too. There are even more angles on the schoolhouse, which is a vast improvement on the lower level L+1. More lovely design work here. And finally for the US mid-level buildings, the gorgeous upgrade to the microchip, it's modern angles, filling 4x4 to 4x6 zone plots. With all the information we now have, we can try to shape our new city. On this run, we are looking for 2 microchips, separated and alongside 2 zigzags, before tapering out with 3 cabins in decreasing plot sizes. While they are growing, you may be wondering if there are any higher level, low density buildings. This is a great question, but at this time I don't have any level 5 homes in my city, so cannot confirm nor deny either way. If there are, they will be exclusive to upgrade level 5, and if you have any, be sure to let us know in the comments. So here we are looking for microchip zigzag, cabin, cabin, cabin. And what do you know? It actually worked. This system isn't absolutely 100% reliable, as I think the game engine actively looks to try to add as much variety and balance as possible, but it certainly is a planner's tool to having more control over your city's appearance. I'd love to cover all the other zoning types in this level of detail, but given the over 20 hours this video took to make, it will need to get some traction. So if you don't mind, please give the video a like and share where and when you can. And that is it. A big shout out to all the BonBonB buddies on Patreon and YouTube membership, without whom this channel simply couldn't exist. Thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing. I've been BonBonB and you've been very, very welcome.